welcome to the Happy Rant podcast. I am Ted Cluck, joined as always in studio by my good friends and partners in radio, Barnabas Piper and Ron Martin. Boys, I'm getting more and more excited about Indy Live. Indy Live coming up March 31st in Indianapolis at Soma Church in Day Spa. Piper, tell them about Indy Live, where they can get tickets, how they can get tickets.
Why
talk
they
about
can
our
get tickets.
Yeah, talk about our website. We have a web presence at the Happy Rant podcast, which is really exciting.
Because more goes on that web presence than just get your Indy Live tickets. Although right now that is the absolute most pressing and valuable thing you can do with your time, your money, with your emotions. You can take them to happyrantpodcast.com and click the orange button that says get your tickets, and you can purchase them. If you're already planning to go to the Gospel Coalition, or if you know people planning to go to the Gospel Coalition conference, this is the evening before it begins. So you're probably coming in the evening before anyway, because there's all sorts of pre-conference stuff, and you just want to get settled in and, get your notepads ready for the 77 hours of sermons you're going to listen to, and the 37 breakouts. The huge pre-conference parties. There's after parties after all the breakout sessions. It's a wild time for Reformed folks. None of us will be doing breakout sessions, so this is your one chance to hear us. So it's March 31st at Soma Church and Day Spa and Lingerie Company, and I think somebody sent me something that there's a Soma something in the pharmacist world as well. So it's a really multifaceted venue. There's pharmaceuticals, there's underwear. There's all sorts of spa treatments, and it's also a church. So lots of wonderful things going on there. March 31st, 7 to 10 p.m., Indianapolis. If you go to happyrantpodcast.com, you can get your tickets there. The other things you can do at our web presence, that's like website except with some gravitas.
It's comprehensive.
Yeah. You can get your Lagares Roasters coffee there. We have a link there because Lagares has been a longtime partner with us. They also make awesome coffee that many of you have already purchased, and so you can confirm that it is in fact delicious. You can get all of the swag that we offer through Missional Wear, so that's pint glasses and mugs and moleskins and t-shirts and stickers and just kind of anything Happy Rant branding except for like temporary tattoos. They haven't done those yet. Maybe I should get a permanent Happy Rant tattoo. That's a good thing to consider. Ooh. The other thing you can do there, though, is there's a link to contact me, Ted, or Ron to invite us to speak. So since the Gospel Coalition failed to hit that link and invite us to speak at a breakout session, you can remedy that by inviting us to speak at Sunday morning services, men's conferences, youth retreats, college groups, seminars, plenary sessions, colloquiums, summits. What am I missing, guys?
Cohorts.
Cohorts, yes, absolutely. Yeah. We will coach a cohort. Ron, any other events that you would be willing to speak at that I've left out? Summer camps. I left out camps.
Yeah, summer camps. Well, I'm not sure about summer camps. I'll leave that one to you guys. I'm always a little more surprised I don't get invited to more arty, music oriented talk to us about your life and times in the music industry stuff. So those are available for me.
Ron is pitching the idea of like a behind the music plenary session that he's eager and ready to do. So if that sounds like it would fit.
Ron's ready to talk about his life and times, man. We got to get our boy a plenary to do that. Let's make this happen.
Yeah, it's like it'll be like a Ronnie Martin 30 for 30 at your church. That sounds. Ooh. I mean, I'd pay to see that.
Wow,
dude, what's the 30 for 30? Like the chords at the beginning. Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know it very well.
Yeah, and then the little like bass rumble, and then they go into like the super dramatic Ron Martin story.
That's the best. That's the best I've ever heard of it.
Yeah, I love it, dude.
Do those chords again.
Dun, dun, dun. It's not as good as breaking news. I was
gonna say it's no breaking news jingle, but it's a good start. We're just getting warmed up,
dude. Although we have some breaking news later, man. I've got the jingle all queued up. It's ready to go.
So yeah, that's our web presence, folks. Invite us to speak, buy coffee, buy pint glasses, and most definitely get your Indy Live tickets.
Also, make our website your homepage. You should make it your landing page for when you open a browser.
That's a good.
I want us to be the Google of like Christian podcasting endeavors.
And when you search, it will only search our episodes, which is really all that matters anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you type in like, I don't know, how to renew your passport, it'll only ever bring up an episode where we talked about that.
Yeah, it'll bring up like the episodes where Ted talked about going to Israel and I talked about going to Israel. And I feel like Ron did an international travel thing like a year and a half ago. Did you go to Europe or something, Ron? Was there a missions trip in your past?
No, no.
No? Okay.
Oh, yeah, there was. Sorry, yeah, like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, yeah.
So,
Sorry.
yeah, that'll come up, and it doesn't have anything to do with renewing your passport, but it'll be a good time. Great reruns.
Absolutely. Boys, we do have some news to break on the program today. And Piper, this is college basketball news. I know that in our pre-show production meetings, there was a little bit of confusion as to whether this should be an item for the Happy Rant General Show, this program, or an item for Happy Rant Sports. We decided that this item, Pipe, is just too big to sort of pigeonhole into a sports episode. This is something that deserves a national, kind of an international treatment. So let me rip some paper off the fax machine, and I'm going to cue up the breaking news riff, and then we'll get into this. Okay, boys, are you ready?
Ready.
Buckled up.
Here we go. Dun 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 dun. All right, boys, I've got some breaking news. The breaking news is that there is a tiny college associated with Midwestern Seminary. The tiny college is called Spurgeon College. Pipe, do we know what the enrollment is at Spurgeon College?
It's in the 3 figures, I believe.
Ooh, strong 3 figures. I like it. So we got a 3-figure enrollment at Spurgeon College, and rumor has it, Piper, that Spurgeon College is about to acquire a gymnasium.
Well, they have. They opened it last fall. I toured it pre-opening. It's their whole student center, and it's a very nice gymnasium, very well lit, very nice, beautifully laid out hardwood for the basketball courts. It's very nice.
So it only follows then, Piper, that Spurgeon College is looking into launching a basketball program. So you can not only like go, deep dive into niche Reformed theology at Spurgeon College, you could also further your basketball career there now. And this brings up so many questions to me,
Or, I mean,
Piper.
you could probably start your basketball career there, given their options for players. Let's be honest.
Exactly. So a lot of playing opportunities. Now, I've exhausted, like, my college football eligibility is shot. Do you think I could take a couple of classes at Spurgeon and play college basketball at this point?
The question is, would you be willing to have Owen Strachan as a coach? Because I feel like that's also likely to happen.
Oh, my goodness, dude. That's I don't know if I could play for Owen Strachan. Do you know what his what would his coach persona be like? Compare him to an NBA coach, past or present, and I'll tell you if I could play for him.
That's a good question. I think he strikes me as a little bit like Brett Brown of the Sixers. Because Owen's originally an East Coaster. He's kind of an undersized guy. He's got like that, he's got the clean haircut. He's high energy. But also just like he's a little offbeat. So he's not the Popovich who's like the rough and crusty's, that guy. Yeah. And then but he's not like the Brad Stevens uber even keel guy. He's not Steve Kerr. Although I think he would like to be Steve Kerr. So, yeah, I think Brett Brown's the guy.
Dude, would he be like a Christian Scotty Skiles? Small, scrappy.
Drives everybody nuts after 2 years and gets fired?
Drives everybody nuts every 2 years, which he kind of does. You can kind of set your watch by, like, I feel like Strahan he dusts off the anti-football piece every 2 years, and it gets me all riled up. And you can set your watch by this guy.
I think he's Brett Brown on the basketball court and Scott Skiles on the internet.
Interesting. I like that. Now, boys, given the Reformed's theological kind of pre-pastorate thrust of this school, do you guys have any ideas for what a mascot would be? So, like the Spurgeon College fill in the blank. Any idea what this would be?
I mean, how closely do we want to tie it to the Spurgeon theme? Because that sort of that really creates a branding image if you stay to that. If you want to go broader Reformed, I mean, that's a large playground we get to play in.
Yeah, it sure is.
What do you think? Spurgeon on brand or sort of broader Reformed?
Let's go broader Reformed. Big R, you got any ideas for us? Mascot?
I have no idea what you're talking about right now. Why don't you guys just continue? I'm looking up at log homes in Ohio right now because that's always been a dream of mine. So I'm with you. Don't think of me as not here. Just think of me as behind you, supporting right now.
Pipe, you know what this is? This is Ron's protest move because he never wanted to do this topic on the show.
It is.
I believe he may have said very explicitly he didn't want to do this topic on the show.
Yeah,
I don't think it was mysterious, guys. I don't think there was any sort of like Enneagram 4 mystery there for you.
Dude, now this is the protest move, Piper. This is like just in keeping with the basketball analogy, you put the like disgruntled player in the game and he doesn't play any defense and he just stands in the corner.
Yeah, this
is keeping with the basketball analogy, just to push it even further.
This is that one half when Kobe Bryant refused to shoot and he just passed to bad teammates over and over and over again, and they lost to the Phoenix Suns. That's what Ron is doing right now.
The knife, boys. One more analogy. One more NBA analogy, boys. Come on, you can do it.
This is the Eastern Conference Finals game when LeBron James just got in his own head and just failed to show up altogether, and they lost to the Celtics.
There it is.
Would you like any more analogies?
Baby, we're looking
at
that one. Did it for me. I feel satisfied.
Looking at log homes, huh? Is this for you or is this for your new neighbor who's moving to A-Town here momentarily?
Or are you trying to escape the new neighbor by moving to somewhere else?
You know what? There might be some truth in that, but I've always dreamed of owning a log home, and I just that's really all I want. And I don't know that it's ever going to happen, but
it's like all I want, including a plenary sesh, a chance to hit the circuit to talk about the music career,
and no basketball.
No, I really want a log home like worse than those things. I really do.
You want it worse. That like log home is at the top of the list, above plenary sesh.
I mean, yeah, a plenary sesh is 30 minutes. This lasts forever.
That's true, baby. That's so true.
I think it's awesome that Ron wants a log house when he is just like self-proclaimed indoorsy. And I realized, yes, log houses are indoors, but they're rugged, wildernessy houses for a super indoorsy person.
I just love the mountains, and I've always just wanted a cabin in the mountains.
Maybe you live in Ohio.
I was going to say, geography not your friend right now.
No, there's some mountains around. There's some mountains within a couple of hours where we go sometimes and we rent log homes, and like I wish I just owned it so I could go there whenever I wanted. You know. Anyway, carry on, guys.
Better write another book with Ted so you can get those big bucks.
Yeah, the book business. I was going to say the book business has been good to Ron, Piper. This is not our experience, but
Yeah, my royalties are buying me dinner at Red Lobster. Ron's are buying him a log house. One of them is not like the other.
Complaining did
more
better
money
than
than Red Lobster. Pipe, come on.
Okay, Red Lobster twice a year.
Yeah, I mean we're doing better than Red Lobster on this program. Don't mislead people. Don't make them think that we're not making money that can bring us above and beyond.
Oh, no. I said royalties. I make more money on this podcast than I do from my book royalties.
Of course.
That's not misleading people. That's a true statement.
All right. So back to Spurgeon.
Do you guys know how at the end of Back to the Future, George McFly, like when Marty comes back, George McFly is like this ostensibly this wildly successful author, and he's just published his first book. Yeah, the implication is that the book has made him rich. Like that to me is the most like fake movie thing ever. Having been in the publishing,
super weirdo like sci-fi book too. Like what's it called? Like something from Mars or something.
Yeah, it's a weirdo sci-fi book, and then like they show him, he gets the boxes of books, he like cuts it open, he looks at the cover, and he's just come in from like playing tennis. Subtext, he's a rich guy now, and it's just like
they're still living in that sort of like really like underdeveloped like sort of like suburban neighborhood.
That kind of like blue collar, that kind of like blue collar starter house or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But they've tripped it out. I mean, in reality, it would be like, hey guys, I published my first sci-fi novel. I made $4,000. I fixed the windows and bought myself this nice cake. And I set
aside half of it because the government will ask for it next April.
Exactly.
Because doesn't he have because they have like the Mercedes out front, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's so the house is fixed up he put like fake wood floors in the house. That's what he could buy with the royalties from the like the sci-fi Mars book.
Dude, that's why people think we're rich, though, as authors. Like, they see Back to the Future and they think like George McFly's life was really.
I'm just saying this, man. Shouldn't Michael J. Fox have at least, like, when he woke up, shouldn't he have been in like a bigger house in a different neighborhood? I just felt like being in that same house, that suburban house, like just kind of killed the whole thing for me.
Dude, maybe they like it there though. Maybe George McFly likes it there. I don't know.
You mean he invested his money in like other things, like a log cabin?
Yeah. Maybe he bought a log cabin. You know, he was on his podcast having like a protest move about a topic, and he just impulse bought a log cabin. And
I just clicked on one right now on accident. Shoot.
Oh no. So I hope he kept the receipt, baby. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. They said there's no receipt. I just have to start paying right now.
Piper, let's get back to college basketball. And by college basketball, I mean a bunch of thick-ankled, dumpy white guys who are going to play for Spurgeon College. Let's move off of mascot and move on to uniforms.
Okay.
So assuming that so our coaching staff is going to be Strahan. Who's the assistant? Like, who's the bench coach? Derek Rishmawi? Is he going to give some wisdom?
He's in Illinois. If we're going with Midwestern staff, well, the president of Midwestern is a guy named Jason Allen, who's like 6'8" and a former college basketball player.
Okay.
I don't know that he would be willing to serve as the assistant to one of his employees, but he would be on the coaching staff. There's also Jared C. Wilson.
How old is this guy? Like 32?
What's that?
He's not. Is this Jason old enough to be the president of a university?
Yeah, he's like in his 40s.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I hear the name Jason.
He's
and I think
youthful looking 40-something though. He's not a. Yeah. He's not. He doesn't have the sort of that hangdog Al Mohler like looked 60 at 40, also looks 60 at 60 kind of thing going on.
Dude, yeah. See, I feel like that's a reformed thing. Like, it's important to look, hangdog and miserable in a way that like puts the years on you. Although the young guys aren't doing that as much as like the older crowd did it.
KDY.
Dude, is KDY doing it? I haven't seen it.
KDY. He doesn't exactly like just exude like youthful, exuberance.
That's because of his ill-fit khakis, though. Let's be honest.
That's true.
Okay, so back to uniforms, Ted. If we're going to start this ill-fit khakis and this subversive jeans, I think the uniforms need to be made by our very own clothing line. So we're talking ill-fit khaki uniforms for Spurgeon College.
Yeah, so the shorts are going to be just a standard khaki short. So we're gonna have a khaki short. We're gonna go ahead and make them wear a belt with it. So we're gonna harken back to like really the 40s and 50s in basketball where the shorts did have belts. So we'll do some kind of a woven leather belt with the khaki shorts. I think the jersey, Piper, needs to be sort of a dark navy, like the cover of a blazer. Like the color of a blazer, and then some kind of like homage to the bow tie has to be in there somewhere on the jersey. But
because if you're doing like the sort of the V-neck jersey, you can sort of get a little design at the point of the V that kind of connotes bow tie. I think that's a good call.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I dig this, dude. I would watch this team.
I think all of the uniforms, you know how it used to be, so in the 80s, basketball uniforms, words are very hard, were sort of small and short and tight. And then in the 90s, they went the Allen Iverson route of like big baggy shorts, like the Fab Five sort of brought that in. So everything was like big and baggy. And now they're back to sort of like the... it's like everybody's a workout warrior. So you've got like the LeBron James muscle shirt thing. Yep. These need to be the jerseys need to be slightly too short so that when you tuck them in, they become a little bit untucked.
Yeah.
They need to be a little bit like billowy, so that when you tuck them in, they also sort of bunch in funny places. And then the pants need to just be or the shorts need to just be a little bit. They're a little too long or a little too short.
Yeah. Never the right length though.
And they just need to sort of flap around awkwardly. They have to be cut just so to fit everybody not quite right.
Dude, question: cargo pockets on the shorts? Yes or no?
No.
You can keep your keys in there. You can keep your
No, I think they need like tearaway cargo warm-ups. So
tearaway cargo pant warm-ups.
Yeah. So then when they're in the game, they're wearing the shorts, but then they have the cargo warm-ups, and probably blazers for their how everybody gets their long sleeves on when they're on the bench.
Like their shooting jacket. Yeah, their warm-up shooting jacket. Oh, I love it, Piper. I love it.
Is there a particular kind of shoe they should wear? I'm picturing like the Steph Curry 2s or 3s that were very old manish. They were like low rise, all white. I think that's the shoe, right?
Yeah, something orthopedic looking almost.
Yes, correct.
Or like
and calf socks, like tube socks that go up to halfway up the calf.
Mid calf tube socks. What about Chacos, Pipe? Because I see these ministry types like when they're getting casual, it's always the same thing. It's always like cargo shorts. Yeah, socks and chocks. They always carry the same water bottle. So like they won't use Gatorade water bottles. It'll be that like refillable like Nalgene kind of water bottle. So it's going to be comprehensive, man. This whole thing's going to be comprehensive. Last question on the jersey, Piper. Collar. Are we going to have a collar on the jersey?
Nah, this isn't rugby. We can't get away with that.
Like the kind of collar you would get on a golf shirt?
Yeah. I don't think we can do that. I think, again, if there's like shooting shirts, they can be sort of that French blue cheap fabric that, when it folds, it stays folded. It's like crumpling up a paper towel. And maybe like pre-pit stained. You can bring some of that in too. But yeah, not on the jerseys themselves, because that would inhibit the player, and that's just not fair to these aspiring athletes.
Dude, absolutely. Now, this is going to create some dilemmas for Spurgeon College because it won't be long before they start trying to actually recruit guys that can play basketball, which means it won't be long before they have mercenaries, and then it'll get real dicey at the school. So how do you think they're going to navigate that?
Well, I suppose it depends on what level of competition they're like. If they can't offer significant financial aid, the ringers they get are going to be like washed out homeschool co-op players or something.
Yeah.
It's a guy who's in seminary who maybe has a year of eligibility left from a previous career. He's an ex-con who's now reformed and saved, and he's like, I played in the prison yard, and they're like, come on down, man, you can bang in the post for us. So yeah.
Dude, speaking of Pipe, I made my intramural basketball debut at Union last night for the season.
Did you? How did it go?
No, it went great, man. We won. We played a pharmacy team, and the pharmacy guys are all like jacked and steroidal and really angry all the time. So they're not that much fun to play against. But we were down by 9 with 4 minutes to go, and we ended up closing the gap. We won by 1. So it was a nice outing, man. It was a nice outing. Ran the floor a little bit, felt good.
Do you feel good today, or do you regret the decision?
Dude, I actually feel pretty good today. I got a knee in the back. I was guarding this huge, like 6'8" guy, and I was boxing him out, and he just stuck his knee like right in the soft part of the lower back.
If he's playing intramurals, you should tell him that if he just transfers right up the road to Kansas City, there's a team starting up there, he could play for real.
Dude, seriously, the Spurgeon College should like probably sign all these pharmacy guys. They could probably win a dozen games in that league. If they all just went up the road, man. Now, doesn't Jared C. Wilson have something to do with that college?
He does. He's one of their he has been one of their like communications directors, and he runs for the church, which is sort of their website online content ministry.
Interesting. Now, what's Jared C.'s basketball background? Does he have any?
I don't know. I've never heard him talk about playing basketball. He's much more of a football fan from my awareness.
Oh, interesting.
He's a diehard Patriots fan.
Maybe if they start a football program, I can throw my hat into the coaching ring up there. I could be in the same athletic department as Owen Strachan. Although I'm sure they won't start football if Owen's there.
That's true.
Yeah, to say about.
Yeah, it given the number of articles published by people with like corollary relationships to that school about the negativity of football, it seems likely they will eschew that sport.
Yeah, that's not going to be a thing for sure. Should we invite and welcome Big R back to the program after his protest move? I feel like it's going to be tough to reassimilate him back onto the show.
Yeah, it's almost like starting over at this point. Like we got to get
guys. I thought you had an outlet for this called Happy Rant Sports. That's all I'm asking. I thought you guys already did
this. This is Happy Rant Reform Jokes. So yes, it's about sports, but also not really.
I'll just hold my tongue on that last comment.
Did you get the log cabin thing figured out? You got what you needed?
I purchased, correct.
Nice.
You just click on the one you want, and they start sending you your mortgage.
They start sending you pieces of wood in the mail, and you assemble it.
Is this like a Sears Roebuck house where it's like numbered pieces of wood and you have to assemble it? Because I
wish it was that easy, because then I would do that and then find somebody who knows how to assemble things, which is not me.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Baby, a log cabin experience for the Martins. This is lovely. What a time to be alive, Piper.
It is.
I know. I really want to go visit. Ashland after he has his log cabin. This is the thing that has tipped me over the edge.
Boys, the cabin is not going to be in Ashland. There's no. Yeah.
Well, that's actually good because I didn't want to visit Ashland. I just wanted to visit the log cabin.
Correct.
Well, Pipe, you're going to want to visit Ashland pretty soon because they're just going to be a lot of people there with whom we have overlap in our lives and in our radio lives.
That's true. Just going for the sheer sparks flying aspect of things.
I'll tell you what. We'll eventually do our exclusive writing retreat at the cabin. How about that?
Yeah. There you go.
I'll offer it up.
Only if there is a roaring fire involved.
Oh, of course.
How generous, baby. That's really generous. I feel like one of the things, Piper, that's going to happen pretty soon with this new influx of people into Ashland is that Ron's going to be forced to redesign his church service a little bit because he's going to soon start getting a lot of feedback on how he's doing things. And so my question to you boys is this. If you could design a one-off church service, what would it look like? So your ideal Sunday, your ideal church service, one-off, what does it look like? Big R, since you waited so patiently through that episode of Happy Rant Sports and you protested, but you did it in such a gentle and kind way.
Yeah, that was really exemplary protesting. I applaud. It really was.
I feel like the culture could learn a lot from Ronnie Martin about that. So, like, instead of marching and taking, like, grainy, angry video of yourself, like, just buy a log cabin, So the next time you feel mad about, like...
Retail protesting.
Yeah, retail protesting, dude. I love it. I love that concept.
I think buying a log cabin, I think that there's just something in the act of that, right? Going on,
there's something in the act of it. You're stimulating the local economy of wherever you buy the log cabin. Really, instead of tearing down, you're building up.
You're building up quite literally.
You're literally building up with logs, and I love that. So, Ron, indulge us, humor us, build a church service. Build your perfect church service.
How do I answer that, man? Because I got to build one every week. So
I know, baby. This was your topic, though. So
I know. I was more curious about how you guys would do it because I have to do it how I have to do it, right? So it's like I'm kind of doing it how I want to do it, but it's pretty standard at the same time.
But this is a chance for you to passive aggressively talk about all the things you would like to do differently at your very own church.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, that's the problem, man. It's my church is just we're so on it. It's just everything I want it to be. So
it's perfect in every way. It's like the Mary Poppins of churches.
Poppins, man. Yeah. It's Mary Poppins Evangelical Free Church of America. So it's right. I'll tell you what, man.
MPEFC, is it?
I'll tell you there's some hold on. MPEFCA.
Yeah.
Dude, sometimes what you wish in church, especially you guys can like feed into this experience. Sometimes when you get to church, you just want to kind of get right down to it.
Yeah.
And you're not in a very sociable mood, and we have a very sociable church. And so sometimes you just want to, kind of do away with all the camaraderie, and you want to get right down to just, hey, can I just like open the word, listen to a message, sing a song, pray, and then 20 minutes later, I'm back in the kitchen like with a turkey sandwich.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like there's a lot of people that really would wish that we could just go a little bit closer into that formatting.
Yeah. I think I'm one of those people.
Yeah, I know, and both of you guys are. That's why that was kind of my handoff to you guys a little bit right there.
Yeah, dude, for me, like, honestly, I love our church. I love, everything about our service and our leadership. For me, like, if everything just got halved, like half the number of songs, half the number of dudes like praying through the entire narrative of the Bible, I would keep the sermon the same length. I love the sermon. It's always really, really robust and great. But yeah, a little shorter, almost 2 hours that's just a lot, man. It's a marathon.
Dude, is it really 2 hours? T, is it really 2 hours?
Maybe it's close. Depending
that's insane.
There's a couple variables, right? So there's this one worship guy. He's a good friend of mine, and I don't think he listens to the show, but if he does, he wouldn't be offended. And
Yeah, none of this is going to get bleeped, so just speak for
Yeah, no, but whenever he prays, like, he goes so long, and so I always joke with the guys who plan the services. I'm just like, okay, if Greenway prays and there's a baptism, like we're going 2 hours.
Like you're home at 2:30.
Dude, I got to bring a Cliff Bar. Like I'm bringing a Cliff Bar and a Gatorade. Because
or can we do communion twice, maybe, just to get some snacks?
Yeah, 2 communions, maybe like one at the beginning, one at the end. Help me out here. But yeah, depending on who's doing what in the service, it can go real long.
Let me ask you guys this. That brings up a really interesting point, because I had a recent experience with a dude, right? Yeah. And he normally, there was nothing unusually long about his prayers. They were just kind of right on the money, right? Like, I don't know. I've never timed a prayer, right? But it was just, he prayed, he said what he wanted to say. It was always good. And you never felt like, okay, man, get to it already, right? You never had that vibe. And this brother, dude, I am not kidding, man. He may have gone on, and again, for length of time in prayer, it might have been close to 5 minutes, which is like the equivalent of, I don't know what, that's
like a 90-minute sermon.
Seriously,
baby, listen.
Right. Yeah,
I say this with 0% hyperbole. That's standard for my church. Standard.
5-minute prayers.
5-minute prayers, 5 to 6 is.
Dude, that is such a long. So here's my question. Yeah. Have you guys, because we've all had to publicly pray, have you guys ever, for some reason, just started praying, and for some reason you weren't able to land the prayer, and you ended up just doing this crazy long prayer?
Dude, no.
Never.
No.
If there's anything I'm good at doing, it's ending prayer.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm not that good at praying in the first place, and so finishing it is the easy part. It's like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
Because I feel like that is something, I feel like that is okay in honestly, I'm not just hyping right now, but in ministry, I feel like that's the one that shocks me the most. It's like the guys that, dude, some dudes pray 2 sentences and you're like, wait, hold on, man. You didn't even say anything. Say something. Yeah. You said amen before you even started the prayer. Yeah. But more often than not, you get a normal prayer. But then what shocks me is when a guy who normally is right in the pocket prays and prays and prays. And you're like, wait, did he already say amen? And he went into something else and I still have my eyes closed. And you kind of look up going, wait, is he still praying? And yep, he's still praying.
Yeah. No, man, that's pretty much standard procedure at our place. And think about it though, dude. This is the funny thing about praying in public. It's the most open micy aspect of the service. So if you think about the service, everything else is pretty tied off. The songs only go X number of verses. The pastor has a sermon outline that he's sticking to, or some kind of manuscript or whatever. The prayer is really the wild card, and it's really
the prayer is the wild card, man. I like that quote, Big T.
Dude, at our place, it's a time where they're kind of throwing the mic to different people, and you just never know. You just never know what you're going to get.
You guys do open mic prayer nights?
Dude, well, yeah, we do open mic prayer nights, but even Sunday morning, it's kind of they.
Wait, Big T. What do you mean you do? Did I just miss that? What do you mean you do open mic prayer nights, man?
Baby, this is kind of standard in the Baptist world. Apparently, I mean, this is what I've been told. But
dude, I love my denomination. Go on.
Yeah, but like 1 or 2 Sunday nights. And I should caveat this to high heaven, because these are actually good. They're nourishing things for the body, and even nourishing things for me, even though I'm a curmudgeon and I have a hard time.
You love the church, Big T. We know that, baby.
I have a tough time paying attention to people just in an open mic setting. But yeah, the way these evening services go, you go and sit in this big room and everybody just kind of raises their hand and vamps for a while about their thing. And in true general public speaking fashion, nobody can just get to the point. I mean, there's all kinds of foreplay and preamble, and then 7 minutes later they make the point. So that's tough, but yeah, it's still it's a net positive for sure.
Dude, so your church actually does a night service still? Is that standard? Is that standard practice in Tennessee, in southern?
Dude, I think it's pretty standard in the South to have
still do a Sunday night service?
Sunday morning, Sunday night, and then Wednesday night sometimes.
Yeah, the more traditional churches still do that. A lot of churches have done away with Sunday night, but you will hear a lot of people complaining at the doing away of Sunday night services. Like, back in my day kind of thing, except these aren't like 97-year-olds. These are like 46-year-olds who are like, man, I miss the Sunday evening service. I can tell you, having grown up in a church that did Sunday services and then stopped, not having Sunday night services is awesome. So,
baby, let me tell you a thing about our church and Sunday night service that you can set your watch by. So we don't always do Sunday night service. It happens like 1 or 2 Sunday nights a month. But I'll tell you the Sunday night where it's always happening, Super Bowl Sunday, without fail. There is a Sunday night prayer service on during the biggest cultural event of the year.
What does that even mean? Yeah, I had a friend that did that, and I'm like, dude, I literally don't understand. Why would you do that?
Dude, in the Reformed world, it's kind of this like, screw you to the culture. Like,
or is it like we're testing you? We're testing to see where your loyalties lie.
We're testing you. We're not like bending to the whims of the culture. You know how
Martin Luther used to beat himself with a whip, and then like he went to Rome and crawled up those like 108 stone stairs on his knees, and like just the self-flagellation. That Sunday evening service on Super Bowl Sunday.
Absolutely, and to that point, Pipe, like when I complain low key about the length of the service. The answer I get from a lot of these guys is, well, the Puritans used to go for like 5 and 6 hours at a time. So really our thing is no big deal.
Like, why can't we talk about some of the other things like the Puritans did that like none of us do these days? Right?
Yeah, that weren't all that great either. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, why? I love how we get to use, misuse, and abuse the Puritans whenever it suits our purposes.
Well, dude, there's such a huge in our tribe, Ron. There's such a huge like fangirling over anything Puritan. You know. That's just a huge deal right now, but yeah. Anyway, Pipe. What about you? Ideal one-off church service. What would it look like?
Well, since it's a one-off thing, like obviously, if it's a the church services that go on every Sunday, you have to kind of build in different things that are part of the life of the church. So there's some aspect of like announcements or different things so that people kind of. There's a flow. Yeah. But if it's a one-off, I think the answer is you want to leave people wanting a little bit more of everything. So you don't pray until the point where they're like, "Oh my goodness, he's still praying." You don't sing you don't sing the chorus of the song 11 times cuz 7 was good enough. Let's stop there.
We do.
I know. If there's 9 verses in a hymn, maybe pick the best 5.
Yeah, dude. 7 is always just the standard, right? We don't need
or invent a couple more.
7 choruses is always
okay.
Good.
That's true. Every hymn needs a chorus. Thank you, Chris Tomlin, for providing those for us. Every aspiring worship leader should be working on that. That's clearly the best thing. But no, you just always leave people wanting a little bit more. So like if the 40 or 45 minute sermon is going to make people go, that's good, stop at like 38 minutes or 37 minutes or 29 minutes. I don't know, just shy of like pushing the envelope too far. That's where churches go wrong, is like they max out something instead of giving people just what they need and no more. I feel like one of the best things that happens at my church is that like the sermons don't ever get to the point where I'm like, they're still talking.
Like enough already.
Yeah, he's still going. The musical worship is like, it's really good, and sometimes I would like more of it, which is a way better place to be than wanting less of it.
Yeah, but I mean, Pipe. I mean, you got Ray Ortland. I mean, nobody minds Ray.
To be fair, Ray preaches like 2/3 of the Sundays. It's the same on the Sundays he doesn't preach. So,
right. But I mean,
But that's
like an A-list dude. So.
But that's kind of what clued me into that idea, though. Because, well, here's the thing: I grew up under an A-list preacher, and I can tell you that most Sundays I was like, "Good Lord, he's still talking."
It's just not. But it's your old man. I mean, your pops just does not count.
Okay, I've been to the Gospel Coalition. I've been to Together for the Gospel. I have been to For the Church. I mean, I've heard every A-lister Reformed dude preach. They all give me everything I need plus 10 minutes. Like, if they gave me everything I needed minus 3 minutes, that would be so money, and it never happens.
You know what's crazy about that is that I think didn't Sam Alberry just like preach at your church like recently? Yes. I think the other like factor here that is, if you have an accent, and more specifically like a British or a Scottish accent,
you're a made man. You can do whatever.
You can tack 10 to 15 minutes onto your sermon, and nobody's even going to know. Nobody's even the wiser because they're just enjoying the accent so much.
Yep. Yeah,
I mean, that's true. And Sam, being a very gracious person, did not do that. He kind of stayed in the lane of how the church works. But you're right. Alistair Begg can preach 48 minutes. Everybody else should preach like 35.
I don't know, a dude with a British accent, they stop at 40, and you're thinking, dude, that was like 25. Like somehow, if you have a British accent, it does some magical thing to everybody's ears where it halves every sermon. So, dude, you could preach for an hour with a British accent. Everybody's gonna be like,
unless they're in England, in which case people are like, oh, that was unbelievably long.
Then like we could go over there with our American accents, and they would feel the same way about us. Probably not.
No, not after the Boston Tea Party. That sort of broke things forever.
Does that kill it?
Yeah, that's what Sam told me. He's like, yeah, we don't really like you guys. The Boston Tea Party ruined it.
Dude, they're still mad about that, Judas. That was a long time ago.
Dude, Sam's in the States. Are you not familiar with how time works in Britain? It doesn't really work in Britain. They just hold on to stuff forever and ever. I think they're also mad at like India for getting independence too. So,
interesting.
It's rough being a Brit, from what I gather.
I know so little about Britain. It's incredible.
David, what are you talking about? You're Mr. Britain.
I mean, all I know is about like British bands from the 80s and 90s. Like literally, other than that, and other than some of the candy bars they eat, which are like Canadian for us, I don't really know. Like I don't really know that much about the culture and like the things that they're still holding to over about America that they're angry about and all those kinds of things. It's weird.
Yeah. Okay, before we get hate mail from our 7 British listeners, I was joking.
Of course.
Okay, but here's the thing. Not everybody knows this. They get very culturally sensitive. Although I don't know if Brits are very culturally sensitive. But here's the thing. Americans who love Britain will be mad on behalf of England, who used to rule us with an iron fist. So they don't need your defense, America.
My wife is literally baking a British pudding right now for a British friend that we have that lives 2 streets over.
Baking a pudding sounds like the worst thing.
Baking a British I'm not kidding. She is baking a date British pudding right now as we speak.
Good God.
Dude, it's delicious.
Baby, do you wish you were British? If you could change your like nationality to anything, would it be British?
Dude, yeah, well, T, I just like what we just said. Yeah, I just wish I had the accent so I could preach longer.
Yeah, sure.
That's all. I mean, I don't want to be like I don't really care about being from Britain. But if I had the accent, I just think it would gain me so much capital in all of these different areas.
Okay, can I ask a question on the inverse? So if like English, Scottish, Irish people get to preach for 40% more time and it feels normal, which accent is the one that when they preach for 20 minutes it feels like 60?
Well, now you're just asking us to be racist. I don't know.
No, I'm not. I'm asking you to make fun of, like, I don't know, New Yorkers or Bostonians or Southerners or Texans. I don't know. Pick somebody.
Okay, Bostonians for sure. No.
Dude, it's the loud, white, screamy Southern Baptist where he's only got one pitch and it's like shouting. And he's doing it pretty bad. He's doing it in that sweaty, florid Southern accent. You can listen to that guy for 15 minutes and feel like it's been an hour.
Do we have anybody in our tribe that does that besides Maddie Chan?
I don't know.
And even he doesn't do it. Like, he'll peak at that, but he has more than one tone. Like, here's the thing. In the South, and I'm sure Ted knows this, you turn on the radio on a Sunday morning, every station that is, like, debauched rock music all week long is horrific Southern preachers all Sunday long.
Yeah.
And then there's, like, the old school gospel music hour, which is kind of cool. But, yeah, so you can hear a lot of these guys. It's like every First Baptist church across the South has one. Yeah, I think I would pick actually like the hardcore Chicago accent. Think like Bill Swirsky's Super Fans, or any radio interview with a public servant in Chicago. That accent is really hard to listen to for longer than a news clip.
I'm with you on that. The Boston one really, really gets to me. I don't know why. It's the way they pronounce some of their words, and it just really like.
I don't know. I could listen to Will Hunting preach a sermon. I feel like that would be really amusing.
I could too. I'd listen to
that. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if it's Matt Damon, sure.
Okay,
if it's Pastor Matt Damon, sure.
Let's break it down. Let's take the whole cast of Good Will Hunting. So you got Matt Damon, you've got Ben Affleck as Chucky. You got that other
really
guy.
His name in the movie is Chucky.
That was his name. His name was Chucky.
You got Casey Affleck, who's the little brother.
Casey Affleck is Morgan. You got that other dude, Cole Hauser, who was like my favorite dude, who never said anything. But anytime he did, it was like real profound.
And he hasn't made a movie like since then. I mean, what happened to that guy?
Cole Hauser's been in. He's been like a TV star on a number of shows, sort of like the cop guy or the handsome boyfriend guy or that kind of thing. So he's made a career for himself.
Gotcha.
Well, dude, and then you got Robin Williams' character, and then you've got Dr. Gerald Lambeau, who is kind of the academic, archetypal, like arrogant academic. Of all those guys, of all those characters, who would you want to hear preach the most? You had to give the pulpit to one of those guys. Who is it?
Morgan.
Really? Why Morgan? Talk about that.
Because he has the best line in the movie.
I wish I had a double burger.
It's the singing the double burger line. Yes.
I love it, too.
It is the best line in the whole movie. And, yes, there's I got a number. How do you like them apples? Like, those are great lines. It's not your fault. It's a very touching scene. But I want my double burger is the pinnacle of that movie, and I want to hear Morgan preach.
I wish I had a double burger.
Yes,
Morgan, shut the... Yeah, great scene.
Wait, which guy is Morgan?
Casey Affleck.
Yeah, I like Casey Affleck's voice, so I wouldn't mind hearing him preach a sermon because he kind of has that sort of that very like slow, whiny, almost just kind of high pitched, almost like he's getting ready to fall asleep while he talks, kind of a voice. That might be compelling in some weird way.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this, Big T: is Good Will Hunting just the Boston version of Dead Poets Society?
No, baby. Here's why. If you rewatch. In fact, do this, like, for your own edification.
I'm just trying to rile you up right now, but it was worth asking.
Yeah, no, we could talk about it on the show. Dead Poets Society is terrible. It's hot garbage. And if you rewatch it as an adult, you'll realize what hot garbage it is. I
enjoy nothing more than your just visceral hatred of this movie. It's fun for me.
That's why I asked.
Well, dude, it's like the archetypal, like, 90s faux deep movie.
I know, but can we start to is somebody going to be brave enough, and I'll be that guy, to start saying that a little bit about Good Will Hunting?
Wow, baby, you're so brave. Now, what if I got all quiet and sullen and did a protest move because you're bashing my movie? I feel like I could.
I had no idea that was quote your unquote movie. Sorry,
it's my movie.
I want to be.
I thought we knew what each other's movies were, and you never mentioned Good Will Hunting. I'm just throwing it out there.
Baby, I'm not hearing you. I'm shopping for like wood cabins online. I don't even know what you said.
Hold on, let me send you the link real quick.
Baby, send me the link. I want a log cabin.
See, here's where Ron might be on the money with this one. Not in a total comparison, but at least an aspect. And it's the Robin Williams connection.
It's a little on the cheek. The movie's a little on the cheek, man. I'm just saying.
Like the Matt Damon, Ben Affleck side of this, like the Will Hunting storyline, is infinitely better than Dead Poets Society. It's not even on the same. But the Robin Williams as like the inspirational, like pseudo father figure-y thing is not on the money. It's okay.
Yeah,
but it's
okay.
It's not great.
It's okay.
I mean, they want you to. They really are setting you up for that last scene when he's doing the "It's okay, Matt."
Thing. Sure, they are. Yeah,
and it gets me every time. It
gets me too, but it's far from my favorite scene in the movie. I don't even think it's top 5 in terms of like strong scenes in the movie.
What is the best scene in that movie in your opinion?
Well, dude, it's. You've got the speech that Chucky gives to Matt Damon at the job site toward the end.
Like, if you're still here in 10 years, I'm going to.
If you're still here in 10 years,
every day I show up and hope you're not here. I think it's that one.
Yeah, that's a great scene. Yeah. Obviously, the scene in the bar with the ponytailed guy from Harvard, where Matt Damon kind of puts him in his place. That's a great scene. Dude, the one that always chokes me up, you guys, is where Bill, the Cole Hauser character, has like fixed up a car for Will's birthday, and they give Will the car. I don't know why.
I don't even remember that.
Dude, that scene always gets me. It's like these guys, they saved up and they bought this kind of really crummy car, and they worked on it a whole bunch. And
yeah,
they
it was
gave
like
it to
a
Will.
1970s Chevy Nova or something like that.
Yeah, and Bill goes, it's a good car, dude. Good engine.
See, I can't listen to a guy preaching like that. That's what I mean.
No, I know, and I'm not saying listen to him preaching, but it's just what he's saying in the scene.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's cliche, but I think the best scene is when Chucky shows up to pick Will up, and he's not there, and just sort of the way he turns around and has like the look of both like disappointment and satisfaction on his face, and then just walks away and gets in the car and leaves. I think that's sort of because it's like a quiet pinnacle instead of the it's not your fault sort of like we're gonna emotionally manipulate you into this thing.
Yeah.
I do think the Robin Williams scene where they're talking about the Carlton Fisk home run game and he missed it because he had to go see about a girl. That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
Writing as well as you could tell that both of those guys just loved doing that scene. They loved baseball. They loved doing the scene. It was just, they felt like real people instead of characters.
I just think I do think it's a phenomenal movie. I do think it's a phenomenal script. I think what's most phenomenal about it to me is that it was written by those two dudes, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At such a young age.
Because those guys are not like largely impressive to me as actors or anything of that caliber. So the fact that they were such great writers for that particular piece, I think is incredibly impressive.
Yeah, and I think they were they started it when they were in college, like 19, 20 years old, and I think they finished it. They kind of worked on it in bits and pieces, and then they were both sort of out of work, and they took like 6 months and finished it. Yeah, when they were maybe 22 or something.
They
like
wrote
22
a great
or 24.
story. Yeah, they wrote a great story.
Yeah,
for sure. But I mean, like Affleck, man, talk about a career that's just been like all over the place, right? It's just crazy. Like if you look at Affleck now, you would have no clue that guy won an Academy Award for writing that movie. Like you would be shocked if you weren't if you're somebody that's young and that guy. You remember Good Will Hunting that we saw like he wrote that. You'd be like, wait, what? You'd be stunned.
Yeah.
You'd be stunned.
Yeah, but Affleck, the director, has had a consistent success. Affleck, the actor, is let's call him less consistent.
Dude, what has he directed?
He directed Argo.
He directed Argo. He directed The Town. He directed.
But didn't he star in those two though? He starred in Argo, right?
He did. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so he directs. Oh, I didn't know he directed those. I mean, I knew he starred in those. I didn't know those were his films. All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
But when he directs a movie that he stars in, he casts himself as something he can actually do, as opposed to like Batman, where he's terrible, or what was it, The Accountant, where that was just one of the dumbest movies and worst performances, and it's so strange to see somebody who has had success also just fall flat on his face. That just doesn't happen. Like Matt Damon doesn't ever fall on his face in a performance. He's done some dumb movies, but. Yeah. His performance is always like, okay, Damon's solid. He's fine.
Damon's gonna Damon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is always himself.
Yep. Absolutely.
Boys,
we are always ourselves, and we are always ourselves specifically on this program. We always do the thing that we do, which is to wander to and fro throughout these topics, which we have done. Even topics that like. To be fair, a couple of us were disillusioned with at times. I did a little online shopping when when Ron was kind of taking shots at Good Will Hunting, and I know that he got a little quiet during our sports talk, Piper. But in spite of that, we made it work and we did good radio, boys. So
can you guys come up with a topic for me to protest next time? I felt pretty much engaged this whole episode, and I'm now feeling left out. I want to protest something.
What's the topic that's going to make Pipe go silent and protest?
Oh man, I mean, let's think about that, and we'll do it next time. Sure.
I have a suggestion: 80s music.
Okay,
it's not out of hatred; it's out of complete ignorance. So I will protest out of I don't know how to join this conversation.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, fair enough.
Perfect.
Boys, we have wandered to and fro throughout these topics. Go to happyrantpodcast.com, make it your internet homepage. And while you're there, get some tickets. Get some tickets to Indie Live. It's going to be the radio event of the year, the podcasting event of the year. It will be the most fun thing about that weekend for sure. And until next time, Rachel the Held Evans.
The Happy Rant is brought to you by Resonate Recordings. If you go to resonaterecordings.com, you can see the full range of services they offer. So if you're considering starting a podcast, they are the ones we recommend going with. Again, go to resonaterecordings.com to see their prices, to connect with them and ask any questions, and to see what they can do to help you launch, edit, master, and improve your podcast. Again, go to resonaterecordings.com to see what they can do to help you launch and improve your podcast.